Hi everyone. All right, so that clearly still is not our friend to work there, so we are going to jump back on, but through here. So I'm just gonna swap out my computer, and I just want to get rid of this. Okay, just give me 1 second while I switch things up a bit. Let me get this happening here. All right, and I'm just gonna give it a few moments just so everyone can jump back on. Okay, we got one person back. Yay. All right, guys, we're just gonna wait a little bit and get everyone else back on here. Sorry about that. I was really hoping it was gonna stay on because this camera's not too bad on my phone too, but I wanted to try to use the other one. All right, there we go. Okay, I see 3 people have jumped back on. Hello. Sorry about that. We'll just continue. I'm just gonna wait. I think we had like about 13, I think, or so on. So I'm just gonna give it a second or two just to get everyone else back on. Hi, Gulshan from Pakistan. Oh, that's awesome. Thanks for joining. That's fantastic. Awesome. I hope you're painting along today and enjoying it. I'd like to see your painting when it's done. If you can share it, that'd be awesome. Great, we got 6 people back. Yay! So, thanks so much, guys. Sorry for that. I was really hoping that that it would stick with it on the computer, but no such luck. My optimistic attitude with that computer is not panning out for me at all. Okay. Hi, Marion. All right, okay, so we have a few more and then we'll continue. Well, I guess anyone who's here, we can still continue doing these dark clouds. The ones here too, you can add, like I did go with black, so it does look more stormy versus like that purpley color. You could always do that instead and do kind of like a darker purple into that blue. But I'm gonna just stick with that for now and then we'll go from there. Okay. Awesome. Okay, so we're gonna, so it's about 5 people. Oh, Jen's here. Fantastic. Hi, Jen. All right, great. Okay, so let's continue on and hopefully we'll get more people on as we keep going. Okay, so there's the canvas. Hopefully you guys can see it okay. Awesome. Okay, so now I'd like to start working on, I'm gonna take a break from that for a moment. I can always go back to that if I want to, and I might want to add some purplish to it once we create that color. But right now we're gonna move on to that purple, that dark purple with like that pinky kind of cloud that comes right in here. Okay, so the way I'm gonna do that is I'm gonna get my blue and my red. I'm still using my big brush, and I'm just gonna mix those two together. Maybe I want to add some water to the canvas first, actually. Yes, okay, before I actually do that, I'm going to take my other brush and I'm just going to add some water to the canvas where I'm going to be painting that cloud. So again, I want it to be smooth and I want the paint to blend nicely. So I'm just going to add water to that section. Okay, and that's kind of where my cloud's gonna be. I mean, I went a little bit further because it's probably gonna end about there. All right, so now I'm gonna get my red and I'm gonna get my blue. Okay, and it's very dark, and I'm gonna plop in where I want this very purpley cloud to come in. Okay, I get the top of my canvas too. Okay, and I'm just going to fill in the area that. And it's picking up some of the light blue from behind, because as I wet the canvas, it actually kind of reactivated that paint that was already there, light blue. And now it's there. I'm gonna go a bit further than I am expecting to, because I'm gonna get that big red pinky cloud in here. I'm gonna go like this. Okay, so bam. Okay, and even with the background, it already kind of has like a streaky feel to it. It has that motion, which is what we want in the sky. Okay, so we have that going. And then now I want to get, let's see, I kind of want to get, oh, my music's very interesting. I'm going to make a bit of a pink. So I'm just getting a little bit of white and red. And maybe even some of that purple still coming into that as well. So I'm getting a very light color. I'm still using the same brush. And then I'm going to just put in kind of where a bit of the highlight is. And as I'm doing that, so it's kind of wispy, it starts at the top. As I'm doing that, it's picking up the paint that's already on the canvas and blending it in, so it's working nicely. And then I'm just kind of, again, dabbing it. Okay, so I want it to be a little thinner, and then I want this to be a little thicker. Okay, I want this to be a little brighter. I got a little bit of white, and I'm just gonna... Okay, and I'm gonna bring a little bit of red on the edge just to make the color pop a bit. Smells like Phantom of the Opera, that music. I remember seeing that when we were like in grade 8, I think it was. School trip. Okay, so we got that going. Okay, I'm just going back to my darker purple, and I'm just putting a little bit more in here. Bring that down. So just take a look at the painting and just play with the color a bit. Look to see where you want some of that, a little bit of a red kind of pink highlight to come in. And when you put that in, just dab it a bit. And then it will get that feeling going. A bit of a straight line. I don't really want it to be super straight. Okay. My brush still has some blue on it, so I'm just, and some purple, so I'm just kind of playing with that a bit as I'm pushing it onto the canvas here. Okay, I want to leave some of that purpliness in the background, so I'm just going to get some, create a bit of a, the more you do it though, the more it blends. So then you'll see that it's not like different color, kind of all kind of blended into one color. So just be cautious of that. Like I really like the way this color is in here. So I want to keep that going. I know it's a little bit lighter than the picture, but I really like that. So I'm just mixing some more. I want it to be a little darker in here. I'm just getting the red and the blue, and I'm just putting a little bit of darkness just in that area. And I'm going to do the same thing at the top. I want to just do red and blue. And then it's already pretty dark there actually. Put a little bit more white just so I can see it a bit. And I'm just dabbing it a bit. Just blending that in. Okay. And then I just wanted to make this line like not super, like it is very sweeping, but I still want some of this to kind of come out and look a little bit wispy, so. Okay. Okay, so we have a nice dark feeling going on right there with little bursts, little bright bursts coming out. So before I get into that, I want to still put a little bit more purple. Okay. Okay. So now I want to go in and put in that kind of like red puffy cloud that's going to come around here, and that is going to come into where I put that layer in, I think a bit, and then we're going to bring it down, yeah, like that. So I think I might switch over. I'm going to use still one of my bigger brushes, but that rounder one has kind of just a bit rounded but still very full, and the bristles are still pretty, they're not very soft, they're kind of like, I guess they're pretty rough, to be honest. So I'm just cleaning off my other brush because I just don't want paint to dry in the bristles. So that will ruin your brush. So just be cautious when you are switching a brush or not using one, so that you can keep it safe. Okay, I'm just gonna again put on some water. I'm gonna start painting. Here, just be cautious when you go over your existing painting because it will pull the colors and you might. Okay, that's fine. Okay, great. So now I'm going to go in and I'm going to grab my red. I want to do purple first. No, we'll do red, I think. No, we're gonna do purple first. Okay, so I'm gonna get red and I'm gonna get blue, and then we're gonna do that kind of purple, but we're gonna make it, we're gonna keep it pretty dark at first, just to start popping in where we want some of that shadow to be. So there is some shadow coming in from the outside here, this corner. Okay, so we're just gonna bring that in this way. There's some shadow coming in from here. Okay. Red and blue. Okay, there's some more on here, so I'm just making some little X's, bring that. Okay. And then there's some that are here. And because it's wet, it's moving really easily and it's spreading in nicely, which is great. Okay, beautiful. So now I'm going to grab some red and a little bit of white just to kind of get a pinkish color going. Okay, and now we're just going to fill in the areas here. And because it's wet, it's pulling the other colors and it's mixing nicely. So again, red with white. Okay. Just be cautious when you're using your brush. Make sure you're moving it in different directions. I noticed with some brushes, like it kind of has a similar like end, and then it looks very uniform, which you don't really want to happen. So it doesn't look as natural. So now that we've built the shadow, now we're just going on top with the lighter color. Okay, that's giving us some nice movement. Okay. And again, we're going to do it here. Make sure you don't cover all of your purple. Okay. Because then it won't give you the contrast that you want. Basically, clouds are all just like getting darker shades or lighter shades. It's going from like a light to a dark shade, and you're just kind of building it and changing it slightly, especially when you do it this way, which is why it makes it a little tricky. again, it's natural, so it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm not, like I said, oh my god, did not expect that to happen. Maybe I should have. There we go. It's okay. White paint's fine. You go right on the canvas. I was enjoying the dabbing too much. Dab, dab. Okay. So let's get some more of that going. I tend to have very similar, like, strokes. Like, they kind of all go, like, downwards or... Oh my gosh. It's about me dropping everything now. Okay. There we go. Don't drop your paintbrush. Okay. But if you do, it's all good. I just dropped mine, so it's fine. Okay. So just try to have different angles as you go on so that it doesn't all like look the same. So this is more of a pastel-y cloud versus this brightness that we had in the picture. I'm gonna see if I can get some actual like more bright red and just put that in here a little bit just to make it pop slightly. I don't want it to be like super red. If you have like a pre-mixed like pink, you may even want to add, it's tricky because I don't want to add too much yellow because then it might just become too orangey. That might work too. That would be kind of nice. Just want to add a little bit more to make it brighter. I'm just trying to do this cautiously because I don't want it to be like, I don't want it to look at it and be like, ooh, so much red. I do feel like it was a little dull, so. And when you're adding the color, if you want the color to really stay on, you don't want to keep blending over the same one, because you'll see if you blend over, it kind of dissipates and then it just kind of blends more into the background. It just becomes more like a blob. So if you want the color to stay, you kind of need to like put it on and then just like leave it, which can be hard. Where else do I want it? I want it to kind of come down this way too. Let me get some more red. Okay. A little bit of like a light purple just to give me a bit more contrast in these areas. Okay, so I think I'm gonna leave that like that for a little bit. Sometimes I need to like leave it and then I go back to it and I like it more, and sometimes I go back and I really dislike it, but you just need to walk away sometimes and see what. I think I want this to continue a little bit further down, so I'm just gonna get, I don't want to use that brush. Okay, I'm just gonna get a clean brush and I'm just going to put some water, just wet this part just so I can continue the clouds a little bit further. So I want those to come down a little bit more. Okay, so the tree line is pretty low, so right at the bottom, you're gonna have just, it's gonna be black, and then the trees are gonna come up to about, maybe like not even a quarter, maybe like a fifth of the way-ish, and they kind of like give you, there's different levels. So we still have like some more pink to do, so the sky's like 75% of it, right? So just keep that in mind. So you just wanna bring the sky down very low, lower than you might initially think you might want to go, you want to go lower than that. Okay, so I'm just mixing again in some more purple just to bring the darkness in. Okay. Put the dark color in first. Okay. Okay. And then now I'm going to go in and put in some pinky kind of colors going on. And down here, I'm just going a bit more streaky. And I'm going to go in after with like a thinner brush. I want it lighter than that. And then I'll add in a little bit more detail. But right now I just want to get that feeling of these little wispy clouds going on. Almost looks like water, like a reflection or something. That's just going to be the background to some of the other feelings we're going to be putting in here. Okay, this looks pretty and soft and nice. Awesome. Okay. Oh, weird. Oh, I just got a weird option now that apparently if you're watching and you have a camera going, I can bring you on camera if you want. So if anyone is interested and they want to like come on camera with me, apparently I can do that now. That's interesting. Maybe that's why my Facebook is being so weird on my laptop. They're adding all these additional like cool things like that, and then it's not letting me do basic things like stream consecutively just on my laptop. All right, I'm gonna go back over on this side right now. I'll let that do its thing. And I'm gonna start putting in, we have this dark cloud. We're gonna get some lightness coming through here with that bright pink. And then we're gonna build in some more of the clouds on this side and bring that over. So I just want this to be wet, so I'm just putting water. I'm not drenching it, but I am making sure it's wet. Okay. And I might need to put some more water at the bottom there afterwards. Okay. Oh, there's more comments. Shoot, guys, sorry about that. Okay, so sorry. Okay, so Helene said, I don't know when it was that you wrote that, so I apologize for that. What did you do for the pink side? Okay, so this pink side over here, so I'm just gonna go back and just mention that a little bit. So what we did first is we wet the back of the canvas. We're gonna kind of do the same thing right now on this side, but what you wanna do here, which we're not gonna do as much here, is you wanna get a really dark purple and pop in all the darkness. So the canvas is wet, you get your dark, the purple on, and then you just kind of put your pockets of darkness all over. Once you have that going, you mix red and a little bit of white, and then you start filling that in, the areas that, not the darkness, like the white areas, and it starts to blend because everything's still wet, so it starts to touch. So you just touch the sides and the purple blends in a little bit, and it just starts to create some more layers. And then as you keep going, you just layer it on. So you just change your value of it, so you add a little bit more white or a little bit more darker red to make it pop. And just every time you do it, when you are painting, you don't go over the full, you kind of only go like part way and kind of create like another little like shadow on top of it, and that gives it more layer and more, it makes it feel like it's fuller, basically, with every layer of color that you put on. Just added some more layers there. Okay, so hopefully that helps. Sorry, on my phone I have to like scroll up sometimes and I don't think about doing that as I'm going through. Okay, yeah, it's still pretty wet. I'm just gonna add a little bit more water before I start because I want this to be okay, cool. On a different angle. Not exactly. I use this kind of rounder brush that's very, I don't know, it's a little bit easier than some of these like flatter brushes. And then it just allowed me to, when I was like dabbing it on, I kind of just did like some X's and then I kind of dabbed it on. So that's how I did that part. All right, so let's go on to here. So I need more red on my palette actually. Okay. And I have yellow still. It's getting a little dry, but I think we're okay with the other colors. Okay, so let's put in, again, let's get our darker one. So I'm getting a little bit of blue, getting some red, making that purple. And this time I'm not gonna put any black into it or anything. I just want it to be just a straight up purple. And we're gonna put in where some of that darkness is going to be. So this is similar to what we did up there, only it's going to be a little bit lighter. So the dark purple is not going to be as prominent. So we're just going to put in a few little wisps of it. So it's going to kind of give this kind of vibe. Okay. Nice. Okay. Awesome. And so now I'm going to go in and I'm going to get white and red. I'm gonna make a pink, pinky pink color. Okay, and then I'm gonna pop that on. This is gonna go into the blue a little bit. Okay, and I'm just like dabbing and moving my brush around. It's gonna pick up, it's the same brush that I used for the purple. So I'm just going to bring this pretty much across. And get some more. I still want that purple to show through, so I'm not going to cover it all up. Okay. And I'm just adding some white. Sometimes just to give me a different value. Just get it a little bit lighter. And then I'm just putting some more red just to, again, give me some more values of that color and just go back and forth with it. Okay. When we add some of those yellow highlights, it's really going to make it pop. It's going to look really good. Okay, and so my brush still has some purple on the bottom, which is actually good, so I'm just gonna bring that along here. Like X's. Okay, so it just looks, I think it looks a little fluffy and cloudy and fun. Okay, so a lot of these are very streaky, so on this wet paint, I'm just gonna add a little bit of this kind of motion. Have a little bit of white on my paintbrush, and I'm just gonna put a little bit of this kind of lines on here. Now that purple isn't really coming through very much, so I'm just gonna put that back in. Just got a little bit of purple, and then I just like dabbed around. So I still want that to come through. So now this dark blue cloud actually comes down into the pink. Now that the pink has been built in, I want to go back in and like add a bit more blue so it kind of draws into that pink a bit. So with the same brush, I'm just gonna get my blue and some white because I used a little bit of white in there. I did put a dot of black into that mix, so it's a little bit dark blue. Okay, so I'm gonna go back in and I'm gonna put in maybe even a darker cloud, but that's okay. So I'm just gonna put this in. Make sure it goes off my page. Okay. Now the other paint is still wet underneath, so as I'm just dabbing along, it's blending in. And so as it's blending in, I kind of push it back into what I just did, but not all the way up, so it still keeps that dark cloud fluffiness going. Okay. And I tend to keep everything so freaking lined, so I'm gonna just bring it down a little bit so it's not so everything's so like, you can see all my lines are like I need to like let go of that, but that's where I need to improve on. So I'm getting some more blue and red, just making that color again, a little bit of white, and a touch of black. Okay. So I'm just gonna put a little bit more, and then there's this like kind of streakiness thing going on, which I do want to add in because I think it looks pretty cool. So I'm gonna add that in like maybe here, just like streaky cloud thing going on. So with the color paint, my brush is very dry, like it doesn't have very much paint on it, and I'm just making these kind of lines that kind of go down. Okay. And then there's another kind of cloudish here. I'm just gonna put in a bit of darkness right there. Okay. There's some more darkness happening over here. Before I clean off that brush, I'm just gonna add in a little bit. Okay. How epic is my music selection today? So funny. Okay, so I think I now I want to put in the layer that goes behind the trees. I do want to continue using this brush, but I am going to just clear it off a bit. The layer behind the trees is like a very bright orangey pink, and yellow comes through on it too. So I want to start off with, again, I'm going to wet the canvas. So I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to go back with the fine brush after I'm done this, and then I want to put in some more details in the clouds and whatnot. Okay, so I'm just going to bring that pretty much to the bottom. It's not like fully wet all the way to the bottom, but almost. Okay, and I want to just get yellow, and I'm going to start off with yellow. So I'm just going to put yellow like all over. Which with the purple is already so pretty. Okay, so I'm just going to get yellow. Then I'm going to get a little bit of red, and we're going to put it right on the canvas in like streaks. Okay, I'm going to get more yellow again and go right over my red, and that's going to create my orange in a very streaky way. Red. A bit more orangey. And with the water, it blends really easily. So if there's an area you want to keep yellow, then just do not go over it. Keep that pure, the yellow. Orangey. So that's going to be how behind the trees look. Has this nice streakiness. Okay, and so now I'm going to switch my brush. I want to go to something a little bit finer to get some more details in there. And I might still want to play with these clouds a bit because I'm not really digging them. But let's try and do it first, and then we can do touch-ups afterwards. All right, so which one shall I use? It's funny because I use this other one like I was telling you about earlier, this kind of weird like brush earlier and I haven't even used it once yet. So it's kind of funny. I'm not going to use it yet because I want to get more streaks going on the bottom, but I might use it later to touch up those clouds. We'll see how that goes. Okay, I'm going to get my thinner brush, so it's my fine thin one. And where are we going to go first? I think I want to start putting in some of that yellow that comes underneath here. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to get just pure yellow on my thin brush. Okay, and I'm just going to play with this a little bit. We'll see how the feeling is of it once I start and see if I need to add a bit of water. Okay, so I'm just going to add, it's like a little bit of yellow here. Okay, I'm just going to continue on, and I want to make sure I don't just have straight lines, so I'm just going to try to get them a little bit jaggedy and not super uniform as I'm going on. Okay, so I'm just going to drag it out a little bit. Okay. Okay, and there's some more yellow. There's a little bit here. So I'm just going to... So anyone who did the waterfall painting will remember how when we did the splashing water. Actually, I have it here, which is convenient. So when we did this painting and there's like this splashy water, when you paint that, you kind of like put your brush and you kind of just like smush it in different ways. We're gonna kind of be doing the same type of thing when we're putting in these like clouds and these like little dilly-dally things. So you kind of like do and you kind of smush it a little bit. Or else do I want some yellow going on? This is kind of weird because I want to put some more detail in here, but at the same time I know the trees are going to cover a lot of it. So I mean, we can always add a little bit if we want, but you can practice some of your smushings in there just to get a little bit of light in there. Okay, let's see where else. There's also some yellow that's like underneath some of these clouds, so I'm just gonna smush it around a little bit. I think that's kind of it. There's some streakies that are going on in here, but there's not much yellow happening. I'm gonna put a few of them in. So I'm just putting in a little bit of streaks just to get a bit of yellow happening. Okay. Okay, so I want to go and what shall we do now? I think I want to do some smushing around in that area. So I need more white paint. Let me get that going. Awesome. So I'm going to make a pink again. So get some red and get some white. And I do want it to be, I want it to be fairly light, but we'll have to see how it looks against the color on the canvas. So I'm just going to mix it and then we might change it up as we start putting this on. Oh, thanks, Jen. I'm glad you like the music choice. I'll try to find something classical because I think if it's classical, it doesn't infringe the copyright laws and stuff of music. I'm not exactly sure. I just know that playing popular music or anything that, you know, like, I shouldn't say this isn't popular, but like more contemporary stuff can have more legal liabilities, and I don't want to do that, and nor do I want just there be no sound on here. Okay, so I'm just gonna like, it's very similar in color actually. Just gonna like smush my brush around. Just kind of create some wispies. I might need it to be a little bit lighter sometime. Kind of like that. Okay, so let's put some more in here and here. It's just red and white. Get some Some smushes happening. Okay, and it just doesn't look as uniform, which is better. Okay. Put some under here. Just under where I put the yellow. Okay, so just that mixture, that kind of pink mixture, I'm just smushing it around just to kind of give a bit more texture in what I've already painted before, which had a little bit of texture, but was a bit straighter lines and stuff, so. I don't know if I should have done that, but that's okay. Okay. So I'm just adding a little bit of red too, just to give it a bit more of a color pop. Okay. Okie dokie. Just have some, adding a little bit more up here too. So when you're smushing around your paintbrush, just make sure you have paint on it as you're going. Just keep loading it up. So that's just gonna create, like I said, more depth. A bit more texture in that. Okay. I think we're good with that. I do want to touch that up a little bit. Well, I feel like it got pretty dark. Let me just get that going. There you go. I don't know if it got dark on your side, but I feel like clouds like rolled in. How appropriate. Okay. I'm gonna get a little bit in here too. Just getting some white on my brush. I'll put in a little bit more texture in here. There's wispiness. Okay. All right. I do want to touch up these clouds again. I'm not really loving it. And the other thing too is like a lot of this kind of like floats in here. I feel like I'm missing that in this painting quite a bit. So I'm going to get blue and red. Get my purple going on my thin brush. And we're going to bring up this cloud because I don't like the way this looks right now. I need a bit more blue then. Okay, so I'm just going to smush my paint upwards. So I'm not digging in the shape of this. It's too linear. My problem with straight lines. And hopefully this works out. If not, we'll learn from it, I guess. Not a fan of it, that's for sure. Okay, I'm gonna go back to one of my other brushes. I might actually try and play with this brush, the one I was telling you guys about before. We'll see how that goes. Okay, so I think putting the black in was a mistake for me. I don't think it's working the way I want it to. Maybe I should just use like a dark purple instead. Okay, so I'm gonna go back and we're gonna do that. I'm gonna get some red. We'll see what happens. Okay, so I'm gonna just try and replot in some of these clouds. I'm not really a fan of them. Just like that, it's like a little dabby brush. It's pretty great. So I'm just gonna dab over the clouds I've already kind of done. I think that color is a bit more suitable for what we're trying to achieve here. So I'm just smushing up this color to try to blend this in together because it didn't really look like a full piece. Okay, I do think those clouds look a little better, even though, yeah, I think the color is better. Okay. So I'm gonna get some lighter blue and this dabby brush. I'm just gonna add a little bit. Just adding a little bit with this, just putting a little bit of lighter color in here. I want to go back to the darker one and just go back and forth a bit. They're pretty solid, they're not really that much color change between them. This has no light values in it, and I feel like it needs some, but I don't know how to do that without it looking a little bit weird. It looks like a face. Not really a fan of that. I feel like as I continue, it's not really doing what I want it to do. So I'm going to leave that for now. And I think I'm going to work on the tree line because that will bring it together more. And will make me feel a little bit better about my painting techniques when we do the tree line. All right, so let's do that. Yeah, I definitely went a little dark. I don't know. Again, like, I'll show you, like, this is the one I did yesterday, the same kind of thing. I definitely did more cloudness happening, like more puffiness. I like that more than this. That one's all right. I think I like the vibe more in this one. The clouds I went lighter, which I tried to go darker this time, but I don't know. I don't know if it worked. I don't think it did. And then yeah, so now we're gonna pop in that really pretty tree line. I changed up the tree line a little bit when I did it for funsies. Okay, so with this, we don't need to put water at the bottom because we're just gonna cover it all in black. I'm just gonna get one of my brushes and I'm just gonna start off by putting solid, like along the entire bottom. It's gonna be black. It's kind of like the width of my paintbrush-ish. It can vary a little bit. I'm just gonna paint the bottom of my canvas. Okay, on the side. And I'm gonna put it right back down on it again, but it's fine. It'll still have black on there. Okay, so I wanna bring this up a little bit. So I'm just gonna give this land a bit of a shape. Okay, it can kind of go up, down, doesn't really matter. Mine's gonna have some rollingness to it. And it's okay if it's not a straight line because it can kind of just resemble like bushes and trees and whatnot. So the way we're gonna create this tree line, I'm just gonna get some more black paint going on, is, so right now I have some black paint on my brush, not a heck of a lot. I'm just gonna bring it up. Okay, so this is the first step. This is just gonna create, it's gonna look like forest. There's like some depth going on. Just try to, again, be aware that your brush can end up making it look very uniform. So try to just move your brush, go back to the front, go to the side a little bit, just so it's not, doesn't just look like you just did a bunch of brush strokes. Of course, you want to make it look a little bit organic. Goes off the side of the page. Okay, so now you already have kind of like this feeling of like this tree line happening. I'm just gonna clean that brush because I'm gonna move on and do one of my thinner brushes. Right, Diana? Yeah, clouds are very difficult. Are very difficult, I find. So yeah, I'm definitely interested to see if you guys have tried any other techniques, or if this isn't your first rodeo with the clouds. Definitely share your tips and your tricks and anything that you feel like that would be helpful. Like, I want this community to be fully a dialogue, so I know it's tricky again because only you can hear me speak. I can't hear you speak in this moment, but definitely use the comments to do that. Okay, so now we're gonna put in some of these trees. So I want it to be, again, not uniform. In the image, you'll see that's a bit of like a kind of a pack of trees together here. Here there's some taller trees that are more wispy. So you can do whichever way you want. The way I'm gonna do it is I'm just gonna pop in some, I actually want that to be a little bit, I'm adding some water to my black just to make it smooth. I want to make some of these tall trees. They're going to come all the way up. Okay, so I'm just going to add, and you can add a bunch of different little things like that. not gonna do it all the way across. I'm just gonna start here, and then I'm just gonna like, you're gonna have some of these. This is gonna be a bigger tree here. It's gonna be another one here. And then I'm just gonna dab, and then just give little leaves going. This one's a nice big one. Okay, so I'm just gonna bring that around. And same thing with this one. Since they're the trees, we're gonna have them come down. Okay. Kind of give that idea of them, there being lots of trees and lots of leaves and lots of things happening here. Okay, so that's my first group of trees. Okay, some of these might be a little bit smaller. I still want to have some thicker trunks here. Another group maybe here. Okay. Okay, that's my other little group there. Okay. So you can kind of build out your trees as you go. Okay, I think I'm gonna jump over here for a bit, and I want to have some nice. Okay, have some more. Okay, so it's a nice big tree. Okay. This is reminding me of Looney Tunes, this music. Okay. I'm just gonna pop in some other ones, get some other ones going. It's a little bit lower in here. Okay, there's the tree line. I might actually just go in and I just want to put in a few more lines that is in some of the background, so. And what I'd suggest too is, so my black area here, like the land, is very dark. So I would suggest to ensure that yours is like that too. If it looks lighter, if you can see the canvas through it, just thicken it up to make it really dark. What you don't want is you don't want your strokes from the trees to be very visible. Like you want this to be all the same opaque black all the way across. That can happen if you put too much water and then it ends up not being like very more water than paint essentially. Okay. Okay, so just debating on these clouds. And this, to me, I just keep seeing a face. I keep seeing like two eyes and like a tongue. It's like throwing me off quite a bit. It's definitely not doing that flow that I had in the one I did yesterday. That is for sure. Like debating whether I want to attempt at touching these clouds again. Like I kind of want to, and I kind of am sick of them. But let's see. All right. I'm just gonna look away for a second here. Yeah, I think I'm going to still, yeah, I'm gonna get some of this peacock blue, and I'm gonna try again. Okay, so I'm gonna make it a little bit lighter. I'm gonna go a little bit lighter than that. It's gonna look a little bit like an animation more than painting, but might look a little better. Okay, let's do that again on another one. Let's see what I like or not like about it. So let's get some white. I think this has been, I made it a little too uniform again, so I'm just gonna mess it up a little bit, but I do like that more. Yeah, okay. It looks a little animation-ish, but I think I do like that more. Okay, so if you are liking these and you want to do them, I'm getting like the blue, starting with the dark blue, popping that on, and then I'm getting white on there, and then just like smushing it into that blue, and then I'm adding more white, and then just trying to make it a little not following the same course. Okay. Yeah, I think that is a little nicer. Even though that one now it looks a little bit weird because I feel like that's a little too rigid. Don't know what this music is, but I'm not a fan of this. Okay, let's try that. Okay. Okay, so I'm just gonna keep playing with these a little bit until I like them. I might be here all night. No, I think I'm gonna stop pretty soon. Yeah, I feel like that's so dark. I don't know. Tempted to like go back over this a bit, but I don't know. I'm gonna put a little bit here. Play with it and then decide if I wanna touch into there. Okay, I'm just redoing this a little bit because I'm not really a fan. I'm not sure if it's gonna make it better or worse, but we're gonna try it and see. I kind of just want to blend it a little bit into what I already had there before. I don't really want to do the whole thing. I'm just trying to see if I can get away with blending it a little bit. It looks like a massive thing's going on there. Some kind of alien abductions happening. It's all good. Okay, cool. I do think I like it better. I think that's better. That does look a bit more cloud like. To soften it, I'm just putting a little bit of water just to. I really don't like the super hard edges when you can see the canvas through it. Sorry, I actually got a little bit too red. I ran out of blue there. Still want that to be dark, but I want to just touch it up a bit. Okay. I think I'm gonna leave it. I think I'm gonna call that complete for today. I might end up playing around with it a little bit as we go. Okay, I just wanna make sure no one else had any other comments or anything. So sometimes, like I said, I have to scroll up, so I wanna make sure that I catch them all. Oh, there were more, shoot. There we go. So Helene says, what I do when it's almost dry, go from left to right over the clouds, seems to make them sticky and sort of blend it. That's a good point. I did see some people, they go over it with like a different brush, like a dry brush or like a soft brush, and then that just like makes it more smooth. Alex was saying, usually when I did clouds, I believe I did it light paint on top, dark paint on the bottom, and blended in the middle. However, I haven't done it in a while. Yeah, that was a lot of it. They kind of talk about the stacking technique. So just like you kind of just layer them up. When you're trying to use it, like when you're doing it from your own, I guess, image from your head, it works that way, and that is the best way to do it. It's just it's a little tricky sometimes, but yeah, I think that's a great tip as well. And when you're waiting for yours to dry, Diana, yeah, it does get a little bit thick, and then it's kind of tricky to do more on it, especially if you have like hard bristles at that point. Then what happens is the hard bristles like pull off some of the paint, and it doesn't turn out very good. So yeah, so I think for today I'm gonna call that a wrap. So there is the completed one I did today. This is the one I did yesterday in preparation. So it can look a little bit different depending what you're going for, depending what happens, I guess. And then our original image was this beautiful picture that was taken by Lindsay from Shiny and Inspired. Absolutely gorgeous inspiration photo. So I think I'm happy with the way I was able to kind of capture the movement of it. It has the colors. The tree line looks really nice with it. It still has some really nice depth and richness to it. So I'm really curious to see your paintings, how it turned out. Again, I really thank you guys for joining me on Saturdays. It's really fun. It gives me a nice sense of community and being able to share what I really enjoy doing with all of you. So yeah, so please share with anyone else you think would be interested. Definitely follow Shiny and Inspired as well, and they have some great quotes that they share daily, and some beautiful pictures that just make you feel fantastic. So thank you again to Lindsay for letting us use her pictures for the options, and that will be it. All right, so I'd love to see your pictures in the comments, and I'll talk to you guys all soon. Have a fantastic weekend. Bye.